Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Europa Universalis IV, where we are playing the Anbennar mod as Ovdal Kanzad, also known as the Cannon Dwarves. And we are at war. We just declared war on Dirtwater, which are the... They're not harpies. So, they are harpies. Could have sworn Dirtwater were... goblins. Yeah, Dirtwater is goblins. They conquered the harpies over here. I primarily just want to take Dirthole Rock and Peridot Keep from them. Oh, and also Grozumhildur, because that is a surface hold, which we can build up in the same way as we built up Ovdal Kanzad itself. And then hopefully we will have pretty much secured this part of the mountains. And in fact, if we switch over to the terrain map mode, we can see that we are indeed in this mountain over here. I was a little curious. Mountains are a thing. Mountains have dev cost plus 35. So the caverns really are awful with their plus 80 dev cost. So I don't think we're ever going to be actually able to upgrade the gold here. It's just going to be too expensive. Like 70 development for level 3 production just sounds terrible. Anyway, before we get properly started here, I did notice a couple of new people coming in with follows. So Iron Valley and Thanud, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. And then we have had a couple of subscriptions. Mastani coming in with a 16-month resubscription. Thank you so much for the ongoing support there, Mastani. Really do appreciate it. It was always lovely seeing you around, and thank you for everything that you do for the channel. You are absolutely awesome. And then Luftwaffle coming in with a 12-month, 1-year resubscription. That is earning you, of course, the golden wings. So congratulations on that. A whole year, eh? Time flies when you're having fun. Is hoping for another. Here indeed is hoping for another. I was going to drink some water there, but I think that tea would be more appropriate. Give me just a second. Hopefully it's still a little bit light, but it will do. And then Afrojacken converting their Prime Gaming sub into a regular sub. Thank you very much for that, Afrojacken. Much appreciated. I was confused as to why Mordred suddenly went quiet, then I realised it was because you muted me accidentally. Whoops! Huzzah! And W Justy, thank you also for the Prime resubscription, coming in with a 10-month resub. Thank you! Sorry I haven't been around much recently. Mastani, it's totally fine. Like, it's the Christmas season. I get it. It's the holidays. Enjoy them. Does anyone remember how to make the most out of gold? I seem to remember in the Castile playthrough, Mordred found a way to make 90 plus ducats from gold. So the mostly accepted wisdom on gold is you want to develop their production up to level 10. No more, no less. That seems to be optimal from people who've crunched the numbers. But because development here is so ridiculously expensive, I just don't think I'm going to bother. We'll just keep whatever gold we get. If we get, like, gold in the roads, we'll almost certainly dev that up. But just in the cavern, no. I think I got the golden wings earlier from an earlier sub-goal. Nice. Yeah, I think you get to post with the golden wings whenever. The golden wing celebration generally concerns your loyalty icon, which appears next to your name. So those icons change, depending on how long you've been a modelling. Good riddance 2020, welcome 2021. Yeah, may it be better, may it be a lot better. And in fact, I did actually realise, despite the fact that I streamed on the 2nd, I don't know if I actually said Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and everything like that to everyone. So, Happy New Year, everyone, if I hadn't said it before. I can't actually remember. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday time. I did. I played lots and lots and lots of Outer Worlds. I did also get Cyberpunk, but I'm going to wait probably until like February, because they do have a couple more patches lined up for Cyberpunk, then I'll play that. But Outer Worlds, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. And then, of course, I discovered this mod, which has also been capturing my attention rather admirably. Okay, so, we have this war to fight. Our armies are here. If we take the That's gold. That's another freaking gold cavern. And Grimhilder Oh, right. Yes, we were going to try and capture that. So I think we want to go to Peridot and then go here. And we're going to seize this before they actually finish this colony. Because then we can immediately turn it into a dwarven settlement rather than having to convert it by purging the goblins. So we're going to get moving on that now. We don't have any manpower, which is a little bit dangerous. We do still have our army over there to deal with any uprisings, but I basically pretty much decided if Tight Passage, sorry, here has a uprising, we're pretty much just going to have to leave them to their doom. I don't think we're going to have the capacity to really fight against it. We could try and get another set of mercenaries, depending, of course, on how expensive they are. So, are these the local adventurers? These are the local adventurers, so that's that group. I don't think there's anyone else that's nearly as cheap as them. We do have the Seg Band, who is actually a bigger unit. They have 5 regiments, although we've only got the force limit for 3, and we don't have the manpower to recruit those 3 anyway. I mean, the other thing we could do is consolidate this army. I think I might even actually do that. Let's go ahead and consolidate you and just get rid of you completely. And then I think we're going to save up the money and we're going to hire that second set of mercenaries if we need to. Did we start yet, or is this just the intro? We have not yet unpaused, as I am just about to. Shouldn't the dwarves have an affinity with precious metals and mineral ores and have a buff to acquire it easily and effectively? I mean, yeah, but that's rolled into their national ideas where we have the production bonus. And also, if it's in one of our actual holds, then we can get absolutely ridiculous amounts of development as we just dig deeper and deeper and deeper, which definitely has no downsides. None. What's the backstory behind this mod? So it's probably a little deep to go into. I would recommend watching like episode 1, which just went up on YouTube. So if you have not caught the beginning of this series, I actually do very early on an introduction to the world and the setting. So go and watch episode 1 over on YouTube, which you can find at youtube.com/MordredViking. Episode 0 is the introduction to the dwarves, but I think I do go over that again in episode 1, because episode 0 was for YouTube, then episode 1 was Twitch. Different audiences, but I uploaded both. Okay, we're at war. We're going to go ahead and unpause. We do still have a couple of Black Step cancelled military acts, that's fine. Loans outstanding. I'm also going to go down to speed 3 so I can keep a bit of a better eye on everything that's going on. Alright, so we've taken this. Now, can I seize the colony? I can destroy it, and I can build a supply depot. I might not actually be able to, because we don't have an adjacency here. But the fact that we're occupying this means that... yeah, we don't have an adjacency. So we would basically need to take Peridot Keep. But the fact that we have this occupied means that they can't send a settler here. So we're going to go and take Peridot Keep, and then we'll get the defensive bonuses for holding this. And we could even go for the capital. Although they do have an army somewhere. They've actually got 16,000 troops. Although they'll be goblins, so I suspect we'll outfight them. It would seem that our harsh treatment of the cave goblin people living in tight passage has paid off in a massive way. Forcing these primitives off the rich fertile soil has created new opportunities for our settlers to place and to take their place, and colonial companies have already begun exploiting the ancestral land of the cave goblins. So, tight passage huzzah, can increase its population pretty significantly, or cost me 30 ducats. I think that's a worthwhile investment, because if we can actually finish off tight passage, that would be really, really helpful. And we do actually have a lot of artillery, so we probably could take Dirt Hole Rock really fast, and then we would be the defenders. I could even spend the military power to do the obliteration of their walls. I think I will. Kronthark died. He was the general here. Damn it! Alright, now we really need to take this before their armies arrive. Hopefully their armies are over here somewhere. Or, you know, elsewhere. Whoa, we can get another blessing? Really? What do we take? Natvir, I think. The Dwarves are doing a really good job of retaking all of the ancestral holdings. Sweet. Okay, so which blessing do we want? Unrest, tolerance to the true faith, or institution spread? I mean, because we are progressive as opposed to dogmatic, I think that the mined manuscripts of Malagar the Inventor would be a good choice. The lore of the Dwarven would also be a good one, I think. But I think I'm going to go for the mined manuscripts just because we're progressive. It just seems the most in character and in keeping. The other thing I am wondering is if we develop, does institution spread determine the amount of institution you get? I'm going to say probably not, but I don't know for sure. Mustani gifted a sub to Von Ragnar. Von Ragnar, congratulations on the gifted sub, courtesy of Mustani. Thank you for that, Mustani. You've now given 105 subs to this channel. That's absolutely bonkers. Digging too deeply and too greedily is just elven propaganda. You can't dig too deeply. I like that thinking. That is good thinking. Is the map based on the depth of the ground, or is it like a normal map? So they've done something pretty smart. Usually mountains would just be mountain territory like this. However, because there are dwarves and goblins and orcs in this game where the mountains are actually their home, rather than just having it as random provinces, there are actually these tunnels underground. So these like straight areas are tunnels under the mountains. So if we switch to this, we can see that is where the mountains are. So they've actually added territory under that, and they're connected by tunnels. So there are only a couple of ways in to these, for example. So like one of the big ways in, which is actually one of the reasons I want to take that province to our little network, is here. Is Grozzutver, because that is one of the entrances to the outside world. Likewise with Peridot Keep, similarly, is one of the entrances to the caverns, which lead to the old dwarven tunnels, which are the straight bits. Huzzah! Gigao! Thank you very much for the 12-month, 1-year resubscription. Very much appreciate the ongoing support there, Gigao. Good to see you, as always. Hey, Mordred. Hey, Mordling. Celebrating 1 year of subscription. Congratulations on earning the Golden Wings. Very well deserved. I'm guessing you've played Anbannar, because it being an EU4 mod, it does some really smart things. Not saying that Mayo and Taxes could learn from it, but it does do some really, really smart things. Like the way it treats the dwarven territories, and then also, like, probably my second favourite thing is how it did the Marcher territories over here, where it's just like completely dynamic. Because this entire area starts unpopulated. There are just these little hotspots which are various adventuring bands, and then they spread out, they start colonizing, and they take over the area, basically creating dynamic nations on the surface. And the background behind that is the Greentide. It's basically all the orcs and the goblins exploded out of the mountains and then into the human territories and just burned this whole area. Then these last uncolonized areas are basically the remnants of the orc hordes that the more civilized nations are starting to clear out and remove. But there are some orc tribes, like the Clouded Eye, the Heartgrinders, the Blade Breakers, who are also starting to consolidate, and then they're up against the human adventurers who are trying to repopulate this region. Like, this mod just does some really smart things with previous mechanics. And also using the straits to cross between mountains. It's like the tunnels under the mountains connecting them. So this is technically a straight crossing right here, connecting that to that, but not to that. And creating new realms. Yeah, that's another thing. So these adventurer bands, if they take enough territory, then they get a new tag, which is their kingdom now. And likewise the dwarf holds. So you have adventurers in the mountains. For example, Crookedir here started as the Asta expedition, and because they settled in this particular hold, they then become Crookedir. Which is, again, really, really smart. So you can start using the Native American migratory mechanics, exploring these now empty caverns and tunnels, and then saying, okay, this looks like a good spot, we're going to settle here. Boom, you settle, and then you have a new tag based on where you have settled. And they get new cultures after a while as well. There you go. Problem is we can't have provinces go uncolonized to EU4 wipes variables and stuff, which would wreck all of our mechanics. Yeah, I'm not saying it's necessarily for Mayo and Taxes. Although Mayo and tactics also sounds cool. It's just the way that they've like reused some of those mechanics. Just like, And this mod does that in a few places. Like I've only really been looking at the orcs, humans, and dwarves area, and goblins. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. Like we are now technically in the Age of Discovery, so there's a lot more of the map that's going to start getting revealed. Their colonization isn't necessarily driven by the individual nations, but instead has expeditions that spawn in the New World, which have the same culture as the home country, and then you can play as their perspective and actually colonizing. Mayo and tactics, I like it. I understand. Listening intently to what you say, it looks interesting. Yeah, this mod just does some really, really smart things. And like having worked as a modder myself, whenever I see another mod doing something similar, I'm like, this is really cool. How can we use this? Escan was a knightly human realm, but the Greentide swiped them away, and the adventure parties are all trying to restore the realms there. Yes, which is this zone. So if you take a look at episode 1, which again is up on YouTube, you'll find that this whole area is just pretty much entirely uncolonized, and then the dynamics of these guys as they're rising determines the politics of the region. It's just pretty cool. I do like how they've done that. It's like the rise of the colonial nations, but on a smaller, more intense scale, using the native migrations to allow those nations to maneuver into position and then start settling and actually expanding. And I saw somebody asking above whether you need all of the DLC. I'm trying to... There we go. Which DLC do you need for this mod? Bad Gaming? I don't know offhand. What I would recommend you do is type in !mods, which will send you... Well, we'll open up a document which has the link to the mod itself. And they'll probably tell you on there which mods are required. Which DLCs are required, rather. Some nations also colonize a bit, but yes, I love all the expeditions there, and even some have missions, though only one so far. Yeah, so a lot of the New World stuff they're still working on. The Old World, I would say, is pretty complete. Like, the mod, initially, when it first came out, was just this. This is Anbannar. Or rather, this is Anbannar. It's the Empire of Anbannar, using the HRE mechanics. As soon as I remember how to access it, there we go. So we've got the Kingdom of Anbannar, Empire of Anbannar, over here with, like, Gawerd, Lawrence, and then slowly but surely they've expanded outwards to totally forgotten what this nation's called again, but this nation, and then the dwarves, the orcs, the goblins, the deep forest. So kind of similar to how the dwarves work underground. You've also got the forest here with the wood elves, and you can see how they've got these tiny little connections between the bigger settlements. So again, if we go to the terrain map mode, we can see that that is in fact deep forest. And the story behind this is hilarious. So the elves fled their homeland, arriving in the human lands, and then there was a big war. And some of those elves went marching to the war, then got lost in the forest, becoming the wood elves. So they're really just elves who got lost. Stupid elves. Ah, it's a great backstory. I love it. You wouldn't catch a dwarf doing that. Due to the recent orders to purge the goblin race within Ovdal Kanzad, many goblins from Sudjebrogrod have fled their homes. Bye. And yes, this game does also model like the different races, so you can see different popularities, different population levels. And we purge goblins because we don't like goblins. We don't have goblins living with us, so we tend to have pretty majority dwarven populations everywhere. But these guys, which we're still trying to colonize, will be heavily goblin because, like I said, the natives, they're orcs and goblins. Just went through that PDF and this has some serious Kaiserreich level backstory. Yeah, it does. It's really cool for that. I actually read through basically the whole document. When it got to like the individual culturalization of the different human nations, I was like, yeah, it's enough. Like the general backstory, heck yeah. Stolen gem. You ain't stealing my gem, so no, you're not going to have access. Who do you think you are? Right, when's the next uprising here expected? Anytime. Oh no, 1st of November. We're currently in October, so it could be any time from now. Brilliant. But hopefully we will have taken Dirthole Rock by that point, and then we will control the fortress here. Man, this siege is taking a long time. I've got freaking cannon! I'm the cannon dwarves! Sieges shouldn't be taking this long. Army is under attack, so the natives have risen up over here. We should be able to beat them because Greystroke is still in charge of that army. We will need to raise another general for you. Come on, take it. Yes! 139 days. Right, so let's go and recruit a new general, who we shall, of course, name. And this shall be... actually a really cool name for a general. Bellicosity. Yep, that's how you spell it. Okay, and he's very good at shooting stuff. Unfortunately, we're still early game, so shooting's still not too useful. Yet. It will be incredibly useful eventually, though. They could replace those little passages with straits. True. I mean, it could be kind of like the caverns, where those little passages have different traits for resources spawning and stuff like that. I don't know exactly how they've done the woods, because I haven't really looked. Can I even see any of this? No. That's still all terra incognita. Okay, so victory over there, that's good. So ultimately, all I want from you is this. I need to take more stuff from you to get it. Because once I've kicked you out, you're going to have trouble with all the harpies, because you're going to be a goblin nation with no goblin territories, controlling a nation of harpies, so good luck with that. Do I want to go out into the mountains and attack this? I'm not sure that I do. You know what? I'm going to create a new unit. We're going to have 6 regiments in it. I'm not going to send any of my artillery out there. We'll have you go into capture Endian. Although we should be getting ticking war... oh no, it's show superiority, and we haven't actually fought anyone yet. How many people are here? 9,000. How many people are here? 6,000. I don't know that the 4,000 mercenaries will be enough to fight you, but I'll send you over there just in case. So that you're at least nearby. Harpies are, yeah, bird people. I do find it a bit iffy the elves are at sea for like 1,000 years. That's true. Like, it's basically just the Atlantic. They were stuck in the Atlantic for a very, very long time. Which is a bit weird. But that's one of the few holes in the story. Alright, 53%. Still not, although we are really close. Alright, let's move you there and move you here. Mostly being this cautious just because I don't want to suffer attrition. Still haven't seen their army. I have no idea where that is. So much for the show superiority. There. Greystroke just died. That's unfortunate. And there we go. Peace. In fact, they'll even throw in some money. That's awfully generous. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my colonist from, I think probably here. Who dat? Daniel! Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome to Daniel's Viewers. How are you guys doing? What were you just playing? Was it... I did actually look before I started streaming. Hearts of Iron? I feel like it was a Hearts of Iron day. And welcome to this stream of Anbannar, which is basically fantasy EU4. It's rather good, especially if you're playing as the Dwarves. Not that I'm biased or anything. Right, so I want to start coring some stuff. Oh, I can't send a settler here because we haven't cored Peridot Keep. Well, we'll definitely start working on you. Definitely start working on you. If it comes down to it, I will abandon Grossunder so that I can get my own culture in. Play My Little Pony. Oh, Equestria at War. Okay. I still need to try that. I haven't had an opportunity yet. Ponies of Iron. Nice. Playing as Equestria. Gotcha. Musket or bow? Guns. It's time for these old men to retire. I'm not even going to read this because obviously we're switching to guns. We are the Cannon Dwarves. It's in our name. We are literally called Ovdal Kanzad. Kanzad being Dwarven for cannon. How many loans do we have? 5. Just the loans from the merchants. They're all really, really cheap. 1%ers. Yes, I would like to pay them off as soon as I can. And now that actually we've made peace, I don't need to worry about the mercenaries anymore. So you are building a castle, which is good because we do need the fortifications. Are there any other buildings that we want to get set up? No. No. Possibly Helsingrud can get a barracks. I think that would be useful. And maybe Jepsenrod can get a market. I think what I'm going to do is actually start paying back some of the loans we've got. So that if I need to take more money out, I can just take out another loan from the merchants. It's a really, really solid mod. Super well done. You should try it, but have someone in the chat that knows My Little Pony stuff and lore helps. Yes, I can imagine that, because that is definitely not my area of expertise. Alright, we need another general. This is going to be Innkeeper. Who is also rather good. We seem to have really high army tradition because we're constantly fighting the orcs and goblins. Okay, onwards. Families left behind. The recent war took a heavy toll on our people. Many were called, and few returned. What? We lost like 100 people. If that. We can ease the tax burden on the bereaved, losing us some money. We can be more lenient drafting for the army in the future. We're definitely not doing that, because we're completely out of manpower. We could do the unrest. Unrest is only really going to be a problem in the 3 areas we just took, at least until we purge them of their goblins. So this is the price that must be paid for the glorious nation. And we've completed a mission. Deal with the raiders. Reclaim Outer Kanzad. And for this, Ovdal Kanzad gains 6 development. So what I think we should do is increase the development here by 4. No, because we can already dig, right? We can, except for the fact that we're building the castle. So in 30 days we'll double check that. In the meantime, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you moving back up to there, and then you go and stand over here. Agenda of the Diet. By the way, Mordred, I think dwarves can do magic unlike Warhammer. Yeah, they can. We're not very good at it, but we do have a mage's estate. We haven't really done much with them. We don't really favour them. One day, if I ever do Segida, these guys, this is like a cosmopolitan alliance between the humans, the Sun Elves, and the Dwarves. And I think that would be a magical Dwarven nation. But Ovdal Kanzad, less so. We like cannons too much. Our magic isn't how we use our big guns. Is it dwarfs or dwarves? And this is dwarves. With a V.